Mean Joe was a great football player. You always had to be looking.
Before there was a dynasty, there was one man who refused to lose. Drafted into one of the most beaten-down franchises in football, he transformed a city's despair into 4 Super Bowl championships in 6 years. Unblockable, unstoppable. The heartbeat of the most feared defense the game has ever seen. A 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a Hall of Famer, and without question, one of the greatest to ever play the game.
I'd never heard of Joe Greene. I'd never actually heard of North Texas State. I was just kind of shocked that, oh, here we go, another high draft choice that's not going to work out. Ray Mansfield was the Steelers center, a really tough guy. Ray said, I'm going to show this rookie what the NFL is all about. Ray fired out. Joe took him and he just threw him up in the air. I mean, he was just gone. And it crushed the running back. And we were all like, oh my God, did you see that? We were huge fans, all of that fast. If any other player had acted that way, except for Joe Greene, Coach Noel would have cut him. But Joe Greene, he could see that this is a guy that can turn things around.
Was he that mean? Was he really mean?
Yeah.
He's mean?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He, against Cleveland, one year took the helmet off. I believe it was Babb, the center, and like Samson with the jawbone of an ass, wiped him out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they couldn't control him. And they had the Browns flying. We were in Cleveland. And they're scattered, and he took that helmet, threw it in the stands, ran back, grabbed the football, went to the end, threw it in the stands, and I'm sitting on the sideline like, and Chuck didn't know. Chuck not doing it. Everybody's just like, this guy's, he's on his rampage right now. Let him finish wiping them out, and then it was, to this day, I don't think anybody calls him Mean Joe Greene but me, and he hates it when I do it, but I do it just to piss him off.
Now, he did that in Cleveland?
Yes.
Do you think Myles Garrett got inspired to take off someone?
I don't know. I know one thing.
Hit Mason Rudolph.
One thing about, now I'll tell you the thing about Joe. Joe's a gentleman now.
Yeah.
He wasn't then. And we're playing Denver, and the center kept holding Joe. And Joe said, look, man, you do this again. And he said, I'm going to settle this. Well, he did. He held him again right in the nuts. We carried him up. Yeah.
That's football.
Well, of course, he got kicked out again, but he made his point, right?
Worth it.
He made his point. God, can you imagine?
Were people giving him shit for that commercial that he did for Coke?
Well, that Coca-Cola commercial changed his image because you saw a side of him. He's a good-looking man.
Yeah.
And a giant of a man. And threw that kid that. And the women are out there, and the mothers are going, oh, my God. And he's like that right now. He's the sweetest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But back when he was possessed, he was different guy.
4 championships, 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a Hall of Fame career. Some players change a game. He changed the sport.
We're playing in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia has the ball. And if they can make a first down, the game's over. They made it. They made the first down. And he went up, took the football, and threw it in the stands. And I said to my father, this guy's special. If he's that intense, if he's going to do something like that, we got a guy that we want.
And immediately we did a one-on-one blocking drill with Ray Mansfield, picked him to go first because Ray Mansfield wanted to show him what a veteran will show a rookie. And Joe destroyed Ray Mansfield, our center for so many years. And we were like, whoa. This guy can play. Joe Greene would come in the huddle sometimes and say, I'm taking the ball away this play, and do it. I mean, I've never, in my whole career, ever seen an athlete be able to do that. He's actually unblockable in those early years. They came over to me and they said, Captain Russell, did you talk to Mr. Greene? I said, I don't think so. It's the middle of the fourth quarter. I said, the game's over. I'm sorry. I just think that Joe Greene showed, even us old veteran players, that there's a different way to think. You can't accept losing.
You go back to the early films, he was so much better than a lot of the guys here. He was so much better. It seemed like he was a man on an island. Those years were some tough years. We were miserable. We were terrible. After some of the losses we had, man, he wasn't the most controllable person.
Grandfather used to have me sitting down and understanding that nobody goes into Pittsburgh and wins. Me sitting next to Mean Joe Greene Me sitting next to LT, the forefathers of what nastiness means. No, it is what it is. You can smile it off now. Every time I stepped in Pittsburgh, honestly, the only reason I was not afraid is because I said, guess who watching me? All that pain he put out on people.
From a city on the edge of giving up rose the cornerstone of a dynasty. Unstoppable, legendary, a Hall of Famer unlike any other.
The way Joe played, our defense played, it inspired me.
Some people ask that question, what does Joe really mean? Yeah, that was the perfect name for him. He hated to lose. That was part of his demeanor. He's here to win. He's here to beat that guy across from him, and he's not going to be nice about it.
It is a primal game. It is a violent game. It's a collision sport. You can have a playbook, the size of a Charlie Sheen prenup. At the end of the day, you want to rock people. You've got to make them afraid of you, and they don't want any piece of him. Tens of thousands of men have played, and they all play with one goal in mind, to win a Super Bowl ring. He's in with 4. That's what greatness is about. The guys who won't settle for the bread. They want the mother lode. They want immortality. And that's what Greene gave them.
He didn't like the name Mean Joe Greene, as we well know. It just was a moniker that was placed upon him, but he kind of lived up to it. And there was a kind of a fear factor. You just did not get on the wrong side of Joe.
4 Super Bowls. The most feared defender the game has ever seen. He didn't just change a franchise, he defined an era.
It all changed. I remember, I said, what? North Texas State? What? Who? Saw some footage of him in college. I don't even remember him being that big. But man, he looks like Othello. He's got to be the man. Floodgates open right there. We started teeing off on people instead of having them tee off on us. Joe Greene's the most important player in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because up until the moment he existed, it didn't exist before. We were no longer the jokes. And if you wanted to call us a joke, you could, but he's going to bloody your nose repetitively.
Joe would give you a warning if he thought you were doing something wrong. And if you didn't take his warning, then Joe would become a vigilante and deserved of the name Mean Joe Greene while he played football. Joe could get very emotional. And when Joe got emotional, you had to stand back a little bit. He could do things that other players hadn't done. He had quickness and strength and size all combined in one at that defensive tackle position.
His career wasn't just built on talent, it was built on will. The will to turn a losing franchise into a dynasty. The will to be the standard when no standard existed. 4 championships, a Hall of Fame jacket, and a legacy that will never be touched. That's not just greatness, that's forever.